Hey everybody, it's Amanda with Faith Goes Deep. I am just starting with a study that I know I will specifically follow. I have read the Bible all the way through, and I think, like, I read it through with the NLT version. It is a simple version. I think it said it was like 5th grade reading level or whatever, but the funny thing about that version is that happened to be the only version we found that also was like a teen study Bible and one for kids. That they also had a version for the adults. And the reason we fell in that is because for that particular season of life, my older two were younger teenagers and my youngest was a young kid. So he still technically is, actually. He's about to be 13, so he's about to hit that brink himself. But this was several years ago, and that was the only version we found that at the store they had the same translation for all of those. So that's the reason we ended up doing that. Reading through all of it, I always recommend it to new believers, I guess, or people who haven't read through the Bible and have a hard time understanding scripture, because I find it to be very useful in more modern day type of language and an aspect of getting the general overview of what the Bible's really talking about and what things are meaning. However, as you mature in faith, as I have, hence the deeper study that I'm trying to get into, I wanted to read chronologically because in my brain set, going beyond NLT for that basic general overview of what scripture is talking about, I wanted something that would involve a little bit more study, a little more in-depth of understanding what's written, why it's written, what the meaning really is behind it. Hence my whole little stack here of going through things. So with that being said, I am going chronologically. It's something I always wanted to do, because the way my brain operates, you've probably heard me already bounce around. Forgive me. It's my ADHD stuff, I guess. It helps me to connect the storyline better of that beginning to how things unfold and how things are connecting into each other. And I find that extremely useful. It helps me to grasp better of an understanding of things. And I'm just going to share, as I was just reading the Bible, it was just kind of reading through books here and there. And even though I got the concepts of things, there were some parts, I guess because of the way I am, I'm like, wow, sometimes it seems like God's kind of harsh with things. And I'm like, but God isn't meant to be harsh. Like, yes, he provides justice. Yes, he is good and all of those things. So my perspective of seeing that was wrong. And I'm always trying to understand why people do the things they do, what had happened before that led them to think this is the decision that needs to be made or whatever. And even though it's God, I still fall in the same aspect, I guess, with trying to understand what got to that point. So for me, reading chronologically, it kind of opens that up. And I did start reading chronologically many years ago. I didn't get too far into things. I think I only got through the point of Genesis, where it got to the point where Moses and the Israelites were wandering the desert for 40 years. But even up to that point, I was like, wow, God's not being harsh. Like, he warned them over and over and over and over and over and gave them chance after chance after chance. And he even tried to explain and give the warning of what would happen, and it just connected it all together for me. So that is why I am going to be going through this in that manner. So I'm just going to go through and end up studying and then sharing that with you as we go through this. So hopefully that will help you. Anyway, just the materials I'm using, I guess, if anybody's interested. I do have like colored pencils and Bible pens and Bible highlighters and sticky tabs. None of that's important. I do have my chronological reading list, so we're going to start working through that. I know it says week 1, Genesis 1 through 3. Sometimes it takes me much longer than reading through this as quickly as it says, because I take my time to really absorb and understand and process what is being written. That's something different. So as we go through this, like, I'm following that plan. I have a notebook to write my questions, break apart my stuff, because I like having that to the side to organize my thoughts and my questions and finding answers before I journal it in my Bible. I am using my New King James as we go through this that my mom got me for Christmas. I know it bleeds through. I'm actually working through a project. It's a very long-term project, making my own version, like copying verses and getting it printed and binding it myself, that are much thicker pages so it doesn't bleed through like that is doing there. And those are Bible highlighters or Bible pens. So just to prevent the bleeding, I know there are different things you can buy them, and they're, because of the thickness, it ends up being in several different books, and I didn't want that. So I might end up having a big old Bible, but at least the pages are thicker and I can do my notes and everything like I want. So eventually that will come, but that is a long-term project. You guys probably won't see that for at least a year. But anyway, in the meantime, this is what I'm using, going through the scripture. I also have the interlinear. I got this in a 4-book set, but this is in Genesis. It goes Genesis to Ruth. So this goes through Hebrew, and New Testament has Greek, but it kind of gives the overview in English, and then it has the original with the translation kind of in the English word underneath, along with the original Hebrew. So unless you can read the symbolism, you're not going to be able to read that. So the translation of it's underneath. And it also has the Strong's Concordance number. So I use that in my study. And then I have the Strong's Concordance. And then as I do the numbers, I will look that up in here. Depending if it's Hebrew or Greek, depends where I find it in here. However, like, I look up the number and find that word, and it kind of gives the meaning of the word in the original language, and then kind of goes through how it can be applied, or if it has several meanings, it explains what those meanings are and where you kind of see how that means in scripture. So those are my studies. If anything gets more extensive beyond that, that's when I start utilizing other resources, but typically I can get everything done within the interlinear, the Strong's Concordance, and my scripture. If I have questions that aren't answered, again, got my notebook. I can mark that with a tab. That's usually where I use my tabs. If I have a question that can't be answered, and I put a tab there, and I put like a question mark, so as I see it on the side of my Bible, I know I have a question that hasn't been answered. And a lot of times as you continue reading through scripture, it actually answers itself. So I like to mark those, otherwise I lose it. And then I'm like, I know I had this question, but I don't know where to find it. So anyway, as I go through that, that's kind of what I am doing. I'll do like, sometimes I do like I don't know all the fancy terms, but I will go through like in a definition or word study type of thing. Sometimes it's just breaking the verse down for deeper context. I don't know if that's what they call verse mapping or whatever. I really don't know. I don't follow technical terms too much. And then just using the context of the verses around it, and the original language and the meaning is a huge part for me. So that's kind of more my focus this time around. So if you would like to go through it with me, I'll be posting these videos for the Faith Grows Deep. I will put it on the YouTube channel, and I'll probably share it to the Facebook group from the YouTube video. I'll share that over in the Facebook group, but I'm probably not going to be making a lot of like Bible study posts other than sharing the video. So if you are seeing this from the Facebook page, please go like my YouTube channel. That way you kind of get that notified. If you subscribe or whatever, it gives you like those notifications when a new video pops up, instead of having to go back and wait for it on the Facebook group. Aside from that, that's kind of the extent of things. I do want to also share, I do have some prayer journals right now, and I have like a creative journal. I do not have those up here with me, but I do have those journals that I sell on Amazon. So as I continue to work through and create different things with that to kind of help in studying, I will have those posted up through Amazon for you to purchase. I will post the Bible journals and stuff in the link, or in the description. I'll post the links. And if you happen to have any ideas or something that you've been looking for in either a Bible journal, like not Bible journal, but just a journal for Bible study or prayer journal or anything of that sort, please leave comments. I usually can create stuff fairly quickly to get it posted up, so it can take about 3 weeks to a month to get it fully processed through and approved for publishing. So that's a pretty quick turnaround compared to my other projects. So if there's anything specific you're looking for inside of a journal, please list it below, and I will work on trying to create something like that to also post up. If you have anything going on and would like to share your testimony with me, or you have any prayer requests, I do have an email that you can send that, so it is more private for you. Anything I can do to pray for you, I'd be happy to do. Prayer is a very powerful tool and part of our armor of God that I think many underutilize. So I have quite a bit of life experience in witnessing and seeing how prayer is extremely effective. So if you have any prayer requests, I'm also going to put my email that you can send that to in the description below as well. And you can email me the testimonies or prayer requests, whatever you would like. And I'd be happy to hear from you and pray for you and whatever else I can do to my ability. So anyway, I'm just going to cut this at this point. So that's kind of my basic overview of how we're going to get into the Bible study, how we're going to go through this chronologically. But this is just kind of the introduction, show you what I'm getting into and why I'm getting into it the way I am. And I will see you for the next video as we start actually getting into this study. All right, you guys have a blessed day.